the Dork Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast with Davey. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rick Rude Vaughn, Dick Dude. He is Davey Deep Dick. His good friends call him Milo. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
Not great, Bob.
Nah.
You know, I haven't been this not excited to talk to you since Legion, I would say.
Stop it. No way. This is going to be way more interesting than Legion.
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know.
Shakes out of the tree here.
I don't want to tip my hand. Maybe it's not as good as Legion, but maybe it's not as complicated as Legion, because nothing is as complicated as Legion. I don't think we have to
needlessly complicated than Legion.
I don't think we have to worry about that. Ryan, congratulations is in order to the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin, as he won the 7th annual Hashtag Dork Madness. Best wrestler Stone Cold.
Well deserved. And I think listening to the program, your radio program, I do believe that you made the better argument that Hogan brought, there is no LeBron James without Michael Jordan. There is no Michael. There's always someone before, right? So I understand that. I understand that Hulk Hogan kind of set the table for people like Stone Cold, but no one did what he did.
Oh my God, for that run that he had, nothing burned hotter than when you heard the glass break and Stone Cold come running out and then just chugging beers, kicking guys in the gut, throwing stunner. Speaking of, Ryan,
Jesus Christ,
did you happen to watch any or all of WrestleMania this weekend?
No. Well, I know what you're gonna say. So I saw that on Twitter, and I saw my personal favorite wrestler of all time, Mick Foley's reaction to what you're gonna say.
Laughing out loud. It was a legit LOL situation for him. So
yes.
I'm just going to rip through it. So you didn't watch it, but WrestleMania 38, 2-night affair on Peacock, Saturday, Sunday night. It's a total of like 7 hours worth of wrestling. Some of it is worth going back to watch. If you missed it, some of it is not. I would say 5.5 stones. It was one of the best WrestleManias I can remember.
Which is, I was like, nah. I'm like, they're going to make it 3 days. They're going to make 3 days out of this thing. Fuck that. And I watched the Grammys, and the Grammys.
How was that?
Very good.
How about that?
Very good. A lot of great performances. My boys Silk Sonic swept all of their categories. So
how to have it, Silk.
Yeah.
So fan. This and it's usually easy to like pile on some of these wrestling events and be like, oh, what a letdown, and either shit match or something happened or a bad storyline or whatever. And this was really good. This was almost all positive. Again, I don't remember the last time I watched WrestleMania that was better than this. Like, you got to go back a ways. Now, a little bit tougher to compare because most WrestleManias are one night.
Yes.
This obviously is two. I was going to rip through the matches here and tell people what they do or do not need to see. So it started with the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs suffered a real injury in the match. They had to like call it quick, short, and it sucked. So
what happened? Like knee or like a knee?
Blew out like a patella, or some kind of he fucked up something. Rick Boogs, though, you might like, Davey, because he played the electric guitar of Shinsuke's intro.
So I did see that. Now he's no Hurricane Nita Strauss, but that was pretty good with the flying V guitar. That was pretty good.
Flying V guitar, walking on that like 50-yard ramp, just like
he's got his like wrestling singlet on. I saw
awesome.
That. Yeah.
They're pretty cool. So you can skip that one. Second match was Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin. You can skip that one. The Miz and Logan Paul took on Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
I had a great tweet about this, and I'm sad it didn't go viral.
What was your tweet?
I tweeted that I was shocked that Logan Paul won a predetermined match.
All right.
Because that's all his fucking boxing match. Like you've seen people take dives in his fights. You absolutely have.
Of course.
So like, of course,
it's a good tweet, Ryan. It's a good tweet. We'll circle back to it. Maybe it's gone viral at this point, but sneaky, pretty good. Logan Paul. Hate to give him credit, but he's athletic. He can move around a little bit.
He's a good athlete.
Yeah,
he's a good athlete. I'll give him that. But
maybe the match of the entire weekend was for the Raw Women's Championship. Your girl Becky Lynch lost to Bianca Belair, who is freaking awesome. That match was great. Go back and watch that one. Seth freaking Rollins had the mystery partner, and it ended up being Cody Rhodes, which the internet knew like days in advance.
Yeah, I saw you guys tweeting about it. Like it's going to be Cody Rhodes, and someone was tweeting he's going to come out as Rhodey Codes because they couldn't use his name because he left for AEW, right? And then he was back.
Yeah, he like helped create AEW
Right.
and then decided to come back and whatever. Some people like Cody. I have no interest.
Brody
Like,
codes.
I would rather see Cody Rhodes. I could give a shit, to be honest. Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, good match. And then that was it for. Oh, I'm sorry. Stone Cold Steve Austin against Kevin Owens.
So
And
this is what we were laughing at. This is what we were laughing at before. That was
next night.
That was next night. All right.
He came out 2 nights. So it was Kevin Owens, and we thought it was just going to be like the KO show. We're just going to interview him.
Yeah.
But it ended up being like a full-on match. And it was super entertaining. Stone Cold was in there for a little while, and Stone Cold obviously beat him and was chugging beers the whole time. We're great.
And a great sell by a stunner sell by what's his name? Flopping all around.
Kevin Owens.
It wasn't Kevin Owens. It's the
No.
black guy.
I'm getting to it. Next night.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Yeah, so he comes back. So it's 2 nights,
Yeah.
2 night affair down in Dallas. So Stone Cold's going to be there. Apparently, Gresh said $7.5 million he heard he got
Stone Cold.
for the weekend.
Pay me $7.5 million. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
I'll do whatever the hell you want. So yeah, so that was a good match. That was like 13, 15 minutes somewhere in there. So then the next
hang on, let me ask you this though. Is that now Stone Cold's quote? It's like even if he does a bad job,
you gotta give him $7.5 million.
That's his quote.
So if we want to get him for like an episode, we got to give him $7.5 million, I think.
Even if he does a bad job.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But he looked pretty good. Second night, you got a tag team match, which was pretty sick. RK Bro, the Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. And so the Street Profits have a guy named Montez Ford, who is the husband of Bianca Belair. He does some wild ass shit in the ring. Like he is spring loaded. This guy can jump. He's a blast. Bobby Lashley and Omos, that match sucked. You can skip it. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Did you get a chance to watch any of this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, right. A fucking blast. This was the second longest match on night 2. Johnny Knoxville was in there. Party Boy showed up, ripped down, started dancing on. Wee Man showed up and body slammed Sami Zayn. They had a table with mouse traps attached to it. They had the giant hand came out at one point and fucking knocked Sami Zayn down. Sami Zayn, I don't know if any other wrestler could have like carried this match the way that he got tased. He got a bowling ball in the junk. He got like a big boot to the dick. He had all kinds of stuff going on. And Johnny Knoxville ended up winning the match. He threw Knoxville through a table, and then Knoxville kicked out. And then what also made this match was Pat McAfee on commentary was hilarious. So go back and watch just this match. If you guys are fans of Jackass, it was a fucking riot. And Sami Zayn's one of the best.
How much would it cost for you to if they were to film a Jackass movie and you were invited on set for a day? How much would they have to pay you? Because you know you're getting snakes.
They wouldn't know that I'm anti-snake, but they would probably maybe they would do some research.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. If I knew there was no snakes, I would pay them just to hang out with them.
That was going to be my answer. I was waiting for you. How much would it cost you? I'd be like, I'd do it for free.
I would do it.
I would do it for free.
If I know it's like the original group, like the new guys, I take them or leave them. But if it was, like,
I don't know, Poopies is kind of my guy.
Yeah.
I kind of like Poopies.
You know who also was there was Dark Shark. He was no shit.
Oh, I love Dark Shark.
Dark Shark was in the front row for this match. He took a swing at Sami Zayn. This one was great. Then there was a women's tag match, which was pretty good. Sasha Banks, who I love, she got the win with Naomi. Edge, AJ Styles, good wrestling match if you like wrestling. New Day took on Sheamus and Ridge Holland. You could skip that. That was like a 2-minute squash. So Pat McAfee, Austin Theory, great match. Pat McAfee can like legit wrestle.
So what is his deal? He was a kicker in the NFL, the punter.
Yep. He was a puncher for the Colts
for a long time,
all decade, but he retired at 28 or 29. Right. And everybody's like, oh, what is he doing? He's coming off like a Pro Bowl year. And they're like, what is he retiring for? And then he's like, I just, I want to do other things. He started working at Barstool.
Right.
And then apparently there was some sort of issue with like advertisers. And like, I don't know if Pat was getting all the money he should be or some I don't know. You can look at it.
Oh, weird. No, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he left. Of course, he has a bigger following than we do, right? So
right.
He left. And now he's kind of doing his own thing. He got a deal with, I think it was FanDuel, maybe.
It was FanDuel or it was like a Bleacher Report or something. So
maybe both. No, FanDuel paid him like a ton of money.
But still, like this guy,
so he's
like all over the place now.
Yep. And now he does commentary for SmackDown. And he was doing stuff at ESPN, but then I think he was like too cool for them. So he got left there. But he could legit wrestle. So anyway, so he wins his match, but like the whole storyline was this dude that he was fighting, Austin Theory, was like handpicked by Vince McMahon. And then after the match, McAfee's talking shit to Theory and to Vince. And then so Vince decides to get in the ring. And he like pops his shirt off. He's 76 years old.
Yeah, he's not a young man.
And then he beats McAfee after just like throwing clotheslines on him. I know it's like so terrible. It was so bad. It's like the worst match you'll ever see in your life.
Well, then that's not even the worst part.
Well, no.
And then you're getting to the worst part.
Now, I thought 5 to 10 minutes sooner the glass would have broke and Stone Cold would have come out, but it took way too long. Stone Cold comes out. He stuns Austin Theory. That's the one you're talking about, where he sold.
He goes through the roof. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So then he goes to, and I'm sure you guys have seen this by now. If you haven't, it's probably just on Twitter. You can go find it. He goes to drink a beer with Vince McMahon, which is one of my favorite setups. To like, no, I'm not going to stun you, but have a beer with me. So then he drinks a beer, and then he obviously goes to stun him. He kicks him, like barely kicks him in the stomach.
Yeah,
almost killed him. Dropped him to his knees. Which you can't stun somebody when they're already on their knees.
And I was like looking at him like, and he's going like, get up. Like he's trying to like tell him, get up. Yeah.
So then he like gets him up, and then he stumbles back into the ropes, and then kind of falls forward towards him. And he like looks at him. He gives him a little boot. He turns to grab his head, and his legs give out. And
it's just like a sack of shit.
It was a wet sack of shit,
like a school lunch bag full of wet shit.
It was unbelievable. And then he laid there motionless, just dead. And I'm like, wait a minute. So that fucking guy who died after getting kicked in the stomach just beat Pat McAfee in a match.
And what I was referring to is watch Mick Foley's son is recording him watching it, and he is crying laughing.
It was it's one of the best stunners taken, and then one of the worst. And it was so funny because just last week we were talking about how there's 2 different ways to take a stunner, and whatever Vince did is not what you're supposed to do. But it was
just like a sloppy like burlap sack of cement. Just hit the.
But here's a thought: don't have a 76 guy run around the ring for 10 minutes with McAfee. His legs, he didn't have the strength in him to even take a goddamn stunner. Oh my God.
Did he fart, pee, shit, a combination, or all 3?
I think he probably,
as an old man who's probably dealing with some incontinent issues.
It kept showing up on my Twitter timeline today, and every time I saw it, I burst out laughing. I was like, it's so funny. It's so good because he's like trying to sell it, but his legs just won't let him stand anymore. They've just completely given out on him.
No, did I ever did I ever tell you about the time I got hit with a line drive with 20 Major League Scouts watching me?
No, I don't think so. Where was this?
I got it. It was at Salisbury. It was a kid who got drafted in the first round by the Phillies, and he was taking batting practice in a tunnel. And I was doing front toss, and I stepped with the wrong foot. The one time I stepped with the wrong foot, he lined one back at me, hit me right on the hip bone.
Oh,
so my whole leg went numb. There's 20 Major League Scouts like around, and I'm like, the guy who was coaching was like, "You got to get up. You got to get up." And I tried to stand up twice and fell. And then finally, because my leg was completely numb, I couldn't feel it. And then he lifted.
I hit piss ropes. You're gonna want to sign him.
This is the worst. He goes, "Get out." It's like, we got to finish the round. And so he lifted the wall.
Rolled you out?
I had to roll out. Then I was sitting in a chair, but I couldn't bend my hinge, so I was like sitting like straight out like that.
Did any of the scouts say anything to you?
Yeah, so a guy who's the scout for the Red Sox came over and like checked on me.
Like, you want me?
Are you good? I was like, not really.
Do you want me to call someone?
He's like,
yeah, that'd be great.
Hit me right on the bone on the hip. My whole leg just shut down.
Motherfucker. That guy hit it right back up the box to where you want it.
Oh, like 108 exit velo, right down the dick, hit me right in the hip. I didn't have time to react. It was so fast.
No, you could sting it.
And this is before BB Core, so they had like those C9 bats where it was like,
oh yeah,
Jesus
should be
Christ.
illegal for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
And then it ended with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, which these are not really the matches for me, right? When it's like when you have two like big dudes that basically just like trade finishers the whole time. It's not like it's not a great match.
So I see these types of events, like the guys who are going all out are the guys who are like not the main, because this is the biggest stage. They got a lot. Like Brock Lesnar's not going to get fired if he has a shit match, right?
Oh no.
So the guys in the middle. So like if you watch like any like big boxing match, like the undercard where the two guys are just standing in the middle of the ring, just beating the shit out of each other. Like, those are the best fights.
Best fights by far.
So like I'm not really like great. Like Brock Lesnar, if he sucks, he's gonna be in the next pay-per-view. You know,
he can literally do whatever he wants. So again, for people who missed it, I would recommend the Sami Zayn Jackass fight and then the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch fight. Those were both pretty good. All right, let's get to this.
This week in Dork.
What did you think of the first episode of Moon Knight?
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Really good start. I like that you and I have like kind of I wouldn't say I know the most about Moon Knight or as compared to some of the other characters, but I do have a passing knowledge, and it was good the way they did it. So like how they set it up where you have like no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of figuring out as he figures it out. So my wife was very confused.
It is confusing, and I'm with you. I wouldn't say I know the most about him either. I read a few volumes of the Jeff Lemire run, which was awesome, and that'd be like a central reading for if you guys want to read any of the comic books with it. Check out Jeff Lemire's run on Moon Knight. So I'm intrigued. Like I'm going in pretty open-minded with how the show's going to go. So far so good. I'm with you. I'm super intrigued. It's only going to be 6 episodes. First one was really good. And between Moon Knight and the topic du jour, Rye, I dug out my superhero Marvel cards.
Yes.
I dug out these bad boys. So
we used to use as flashcards.
Yes.
We'd be like, who's this?
I got a game for you.
Sure.
All right. So I tweeted out Morbius's stats earlier. So we can do like one of these every episode.
And it's 1 out of 7, right? If I remember those cards correctly.
Yep, correct. 7 is the highest score, and they have 6 different power ratings on the back of these cards. So on a scale of 1 to 7, so it's almost the Dork score.
Yep.
Almost the scale. What is Moon Knight's strength?
3.
Correct. What is Moon Knight's intelligence?
4.
2.
2
on the intelligence. What is Moon Knight's energy projection?
1.
Correct. What is Moon Knight's mental powers?
2.
1.
Yeah. I didn't know he doesn't have much. Yeah.
What is Moon Knight's fighting ability?
4.
6.
6.
I'm surprised. I would have guessed 4 too.
6.
We did a lot of it was off camera in the first episode. He was beating the balls out of people. And then what is Moon Knight's speed?
3.
2. Close. Yeah. Good one. Yeah, 6 though on fighting ability is not to be.
That is not to be messed with.
No. That is quite impressive. All right, very good. And that's how you play. Guess the Marvel stats right there.
There it is. Let's do one of those. I know you have a full set of those, right?
I do have a full set of these. And by the way, actually, we'll do that one coming up.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi has been delayed 2 days on Disney Plus. It was May 25th. It has now been moved to May 27th. However, 2 episodes on that day.
Which is the big thing, which is nice because it would have been nice to have him back because I know they're doing Wednesdays. They're doing Wednesdays on these shows now. So it would be nice. What is it like the 35th anniversary of him being on screen?
Yeah. Yeah. New Hope was 77. So what would that ever be? Yeah.
35, 35,
40, no. Yeah. Fuck 45.
45. So that would have been cool. But yeah, I'll take 2 episodes. Delay it 2 days and give me 2 episodes would be great.
All good. Super pumped for that show. House of the Dragon got a release date August 21st on HBO Max. I will watch this. I am not nearly as excited as if you told me 5 years ago. You're like, oh, there's gonna be like a House of the Dragon spinoff.
Yeah.
No. Now you're like, okay, let's see.
All right. I'm going to give this I'm not going to watch the first 2 episodes and see how it goes.
See what people say.
Mm-hmm.
Ozark season 4 part 2, which is the final season, the part handful of episodes. The trailer came out. I should have put a warning on it, but so what I did was I posted it first, and then before I watched it, I saw somebody tweet out.
I have not finished the season, so don't worry about
but I heard even in the trailer for people who have seen it, it felt like there might be spoilers for it. But either way, it comes back April 29th, so it's almost here.
This is so the first part of the first half of the last season. Jesus, that sentence. Tough.
Yeah.
Like I'm not feeling it. And I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in, and I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, so you're not there yet. All right. See, I liked it. Well enough, but I'm curious how they
I want to punch Wendy Bird in the face all the time.
She's frustrating.
Super frustrating.
It seems like Jason Bateman has things under control, and he's pretty level-headed about it.
He's pretty level-headed about it, and she keeps fucking it up. And what kills me is she's doing as much shady shit as he is, but she's like got this whole like everything she does is right.
Right. Yeah.
And that pisses me, or like better than him somehow.
Not great.
No.
Great. We also got a final trailer for Top Gun Maverick, which comes out May 27th. I know you're all in on this.
I kind of look, I like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I like about these movies. And one of them, I do like I thought that, what's his name? Goose's kid, who's called Rooster, apparently. It was going to be all buddy with Pete Mitchell, and he is not. They are not seeing eye to eye on things.
Yeah. All right, very good. Let's get to this.
It's time for Davey's video game minute, even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, what do you have?
So what I have is that my children are now in an all-out war in this house. I bought them the new Kirby Forgotten Land game.
Oh boy,
they love it. They love it. And then, well, you'll love this. So they figured out. I didn't say a word, but they figured out that if you split the controller in 2, you can go like Sonic and Tails.
Oh, that's fun for days, right?
So that's fun for. So they've went from fighting the game to like fighting over like how to do things, and it's been pretty fun to watch them. They just can't stop playing it. So it's actually a pretty fun game. I've actually played it with them. It's one of those games where it's like if you're an adult, it's just fun, but if you're it's not that challenging. But it's what you can't really die.
Oh, okay.
So it's awesome for like kids their age. So did
you get the digital copy or did you get the hard copy?
I did. I went digital copy. I've learned my lesson. I've absolutely learned my lesson.
Very good.
A Twitch streamer beat Elden Ring without getting hit.
Come on.
Like, how are you that good at this game?
Was that cheating? Like I
no, he just like did it like that. He was like speed running, but he didn't get touched. Like he just killed everything. Yeah. That's a couple games came out. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is a Borderlands spinoff, came out. People are saying good things about it. I don't know if I can invest in any of these games anymore. It's kind of seems like pretty repetitive at this point. And this is a nice little spinoff, but it doesn't really look to me like they're breaking any new ground here. So
gotcha.
I might wait till this is on sale or pick it up for like super cheap. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga came out to pretty good reviews. So if you're like, maybe that's something we play with the kids and we introduce them to some characters and then watch some movies with them.
I don't hate that. It's a good
idea. Hate that idea. Oh, by the way, this entire segment is brought to you by our good friends at 47 Brand Hats. Go to 47brand.com. Use the promo code #Dork. Get yourself 25% off your shit.
25%, you said?
You heard me.
Wow.
You heard me.
Jesus. That's a quarter of a dollar.
That's you spend $1, 75 cents. What do you think of that?
I like it a lot.
All right. Fortnite has they remember I was tweeting out and talking about it that they have a new mode that's like no building.
Mm-hmm.
And they only did it for like a week. They were testing it out. Permanent now. People liked it so much that they kept it.
Yeah.
And not only that, by the way, I will eat crow. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yep.
I'll tell you when I'm wrong.
I like that.
This is fun.
It takes a big man to admit when he's wrong.
So Fortnite with no building is actually pretty fun. I got the Spider-Man.
Laser beam! It's better than fireballs, you pussy!
Other than take Insomniac is the best there is, but pretty good Spider-Man swinging mechanics in Fortnite. Super fun.
Okay.
And they were able to raise $144 million for the people of Ukraine. So Epic and Fortnite are doing some good things. So I can't. They're good. They're doing good things. They steal from other games, but whatever.
Hey.
Sad news, Richard. Pick of the pod.
Some
here.
Bitch.
You know who died?
Oh, yeah.
E3. E3 is dead. Officially. So they are not doing. They are not even doing an online showcase anymore. It's just done.
Just
they canceled the whole
Pull the plug
thing.
on the whole goddamn thing.
But you know what's coming up in 2 weeks?
What's that?
PAX East is still alive and well. And make sure, if you guys are going to go to PAX East, make sure you let us know so we can block you immediately. If any of you...
Get the fuck out of here!
You heard the sounder. If any of you, I'm looking directly into camera right now.
That's right.
Any of you go to PAX East and I find out about it, dead to me. You're on the Dunzo list.
Uh-huh.
Fuck them. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Nope.
Mortal enemy.
Yep.
Mortal enemies.
That's right.
Eat shit.
They wronged
Because someone from WAAF was mean to like some guy. You're not going to let me in?
Yeah. Nothing to do
shit.
with that. I got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with that.
It has nothing
to do with that.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Rye. Anything else?
That's about it. That's
All
about
right.
it for our friends at the Davies Video Game Minute and 47 brand hats. Again, promo
Love
code #Dork for your get your shit off 24% off your shit.
Y'all ready for bisque?
Topic is your time, Ryan.
Blood.
Well, I'm glad you asked because it's the topic of the day. Today, it is the newest Marvel film, Morbius, which was released in
Morbius.
Morbius,
You
which was
doofus.
released in theaters this week. 1 hour, 44 minutes long, rated PG-13. At last check, these are fluid, 17% on the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. The audience giving it a 67%. We begin as we do with all of our movie and TV reviews, spoiler free. Ryan, did you like it?
Nope. As a matter of fact, Richard, I would say more like less BS instead of more BS. I want less BS.
You wanted less BS. I want less BS. I also heard some people say more like Snorbius.
All right, good. We got Morbius in the chat.
Morbius. You're not.
It wasn't boring.
No, I guess not.
I was not bored. I'll tell you that.
No, it's true. It's different. It was a different experience than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not. I did not like it. And you know me, I like most movies.
You like most things.
I like a lot of things.
And you love a good Dracula.
I love Draculas. We did top 10 Draculas last week, in case you missed it. Don't let the Will Smith versus Chris Rock heading fool you. We did our top 10 Draculas.
That's called bait. That's called clickbait. We got you.
That's
you
bait,
silly
man.
bitches.
It
Yeah, we
worked.
got you. Yep.
I especially when it comes to the movies and television, if I go in be like wanting to like it, I usually do.
You find something to like.
Yeah, because I love the idea of making comic book movies not starring Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, X-Men. As much as I like those ones, it's like, all right, we've seen a lot of those. It's hard to be really, really, really good at that. Let's try some other weird characters. I have a stack of cards here of all kinds of weird characters.
I want you to shuffle. Give me a good riffle shuffle and pick something out of the middle.
Morbius.
All right, no, pick something out of the middle.
All right, let's go with can we get a
just show me the card.
Here's one. Shatterstar.
You and I could write a Shatterstar movie right now, even though he was already in Deadpool 2. We could write that movie right now.
Shatterstar, of course, made his first appearance in New Mutants 100 back in April 1991. His real name is Shatterstar, which seems hard to believe.
Which is pretty, he's an alien, right?
Group affiliation X-Force. There you go. Make a movie on that. So there's never been a Morbius movie before. And even though there were stories about Morbius was going to be back in the Wesley Snipes Blade movies, that never happened. So I was all in. I was all in on a Morbius movie. Not great. Not great. My knowledge of Morbius, I mean, I didn't read a ton of stuff with him in it. I was aware that he was sort of the vampire in Marvel, and he was a guy that was a scientist and was trying to cure himself and basically turned into a vampire. And as scary looking as he is, he's more hero than villain. That's kind of what I knew.
He only sucks. He only sucks
you're
the
not.
blood for sustenance of bad people.
Now,
Right?
if you were a vampire, would
Dracula,
you?
yeah.
If you were a Dracula, Ryan, thank you. Would you drink the blood solely of bad people? Would you drink the blood solely of animals? Would you drink the blood of anybody that you felt like drinking the blood of?
You look at me the wrong way and I'm a Dracula, I'm probably going to drink your blood.
Yeah,
Some of it. I wouldn't kill anybody because
Wouldn't
Draculas can do that. If I don't drain you, I don't kill you, right?
You
And
would
if I don't
know
kill you, I
enough
don't
stuff.
turn you.
Yeah.
Because don't you have to like kill someone to turn them?
I think so. Or you gotta like, there's all different versions of it, but sometimes you have to like then have them drink your blood
In order for them to,
turn.
I would take some sips. I'd take a little sip, a couple, 2, 3. I'm not going to drain and I'm not going to kill anybody, but I could also like, a couple, 2, 3. I'm
If
fine.
you drained them too, you'd probably get sick yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You'd overeat,
All right, what do you think Morbius' strength is on a scale of 1 to 7?
Oh, Jesus. It's going to be like a 4, right?
3.
Yeah.
What's his intelligence?
He's like a Nobel Prize winning doctor, so I'm going to say it's a 4 or 5.
3.
What?
Yep, only a 3. Well, he turned down the Nobel Prize. Spoiler.
That's right. Yeah.
3. Energy projection.
2.
1.
Yeah.
Mental powers.
2.
1. Fighting ability for Morbius.
3.
2. Speed.
4.
2.
What?
He stinks.
He stinks even on the back of the card.
He sucks on the card. He's trash. First appearance, 1971. Amazing Spider-Man number 101. Good quote here on the back. This one's from Morbius number 1, his debut issue in September of 92. It says,
I had that comic, by the way.
You have Morbius number 1?
Had it.
What'd you do with it? Eat it?
I didn't do anything with it. You want to talk to Judy Davey about what she did with it?
You could have been driving a gold car right now had you hung on to Morbius.
I could have been on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. Judy
only-
Davey sold it out from under me. I could have gone and found Jared Leto, had him sign it.
Yeah.
That thing would have been worth $20.
You have been the proud owner of Morbius 1.
Yeah.
Which featured this quote, if I must drink blood, let it be the blood of the corrupt, of those who deserve to die.
It probably doesn't taste very good if it's from those people.
Nah, it's shitty blood.
Yeah.
I would only drink B negative blood. I would go around, find people with B negative blood. Like, hey, what blood you got? Like, I'm A positive. Look, I don't know.
Why B negative?
This is the first one I could think of.
All right.
And it's rare. And it's sweet.
You know what? You know who gets a call
Who's
every
that?
month or so from the Red Cross?
Your boy.
O negative.
Universal donor.
Universal donor.
Fuck, I think that might be my dad.
And my father's a universal recipient. I think he's like AB or something like that.
Wow. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us doing
But
good
me
work.
and all my siblings are O negative.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Now, if you were a vampire, would you also hang around blood banks?
Do you think there are like, you guys are like beer snobs? Do you think there's like Dracula blood snobs who are like,
100%.
nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The
really old ones would be.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I've already had all this.
Like, have you ever had like, there's like a small batch, like virgin blood that comes out of like Germany?
Virgin blood.
Fucking mint.
That fucking virgin blood.
Fucking mint. Yeah.
This is fucking gross, but isn't it Interview with the Vampire where they're like baby blood's the best? Like,
yeah.
Like,
Was it like what's his name? Sexy guy. Antonio Banderas.
Oh, yeah.
The babies. Yeah. I don't like that at all.
All right, I have a very important question kind of off of this movie and recent movies.
Yes.
Is Jared Leto a good actor?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would dare say one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Okay.
He is. I mean,
he's 50 years old.
What?
He's 50.
Is that right?
Yes.
50 years old?
He's 50. So he was so he showed up at the Grammys last night and he was, you gave out an award or whatever. And him and Lenny Kravitz were like standing next to each other. I'm like, these guys are like Benjamin. They get younger. Like they made some deal with the devil.
50 Earth human years?
Yes, and Lenny Kravitz is 57.
Well, yeah, that's crazy too.
He doesn't look 50.
That is.
Like neither one of them look
No.
a day over. They look younger than me.
However, he is coming off his last 2 films are House of Gucci, in which he won the Razzie
I'm sorry.
Award.
You have to do it like this with the Italian hand. You go, House of the Gooch.
House of Gucci,
House of the Gooch.
which he won worst supporting actor, and then Morbius. Now
It's funny though, like he can be so good.
yeah, he can be, but it's also there is something about like this method stuff, which apparently there's reports coming out where he was like method on set of this freaking movie, and it's like, dude, just act. Just do your acting. The great actors don't have to be assholes. And like, remember you sending dead rats to people on the set of Suicide Squad?
Like, use condoms and shit. Like,
take a hike. Take a hike.
Cut it out.
Now,
What did you say? You play make believe for a living? Like cut the shit.
pretend.
I think was you. Yeah.
You play pretend. He was in though. Like, look at this run. So this is a movie I really liked, but it's obviously it's whatever. But he was an Urban Legend, The Thin Red Line, Fight Club, Girl Interrupted, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream. That is a fucking that is a run. And then he was in Panic Room and Phone Booth.
Yep.
Obviously Dallas Buyers Club, where he was fantastic.
Which he won an Oscar winner.
Yep. Blade Runner 2049.
Lord of War. Don't sleep on that movie.
Lord of War. Thank you.
Yeah, the one with him and Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah.
When they were like the Russian brothers, they're gun runners. That was a pretty good movie.
Now he gets shit on for Suicide Squad, but I know you've always been like it was also that's what they asked
the cut.
him to do.
And I think there is a person to blame for what happened with Morbius, and we'll get to that in spoilers.
Okay, we'll get to that.
I'm trying to think of House of the Gooch.
No, I'm with you overall. That's still a pretty good resume. And and since you're the music guy, is 30 Second to Mars good?
Ish. They can again, like him, they have their moments.
Yeah.
There are some songs that they've done that are like really, really good. I actually saw them open for Incubus one time in Worcester, right down the road, right down Route 9 here.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not good. And he was like, I think I've told the story before. Like he actually stopped in the middle and like called out. I was like, hey, you guys like giving us the finger. Like we see you. Like people were like, fuck you. Like get off the stage. And he actually like mentioned it. Like it has to be pretty bad for like someone to be like, hey, I see you giving us the finger. Right.
I say that we suck, but we don't.
His character in American Psycho. This is a little known factoid. Paul Allen, when
guess where he went to school?
St. Paul's grad.
St. Paul's.
Paul Allen went to St. Paul's, so that is a
good line. Yeah,
little feather in your cap right there. Yeah,
I like that one. Now, what did you think of the story of Morbius?
What story?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. The character.
Which one? There was like fucking
right.
slapdick. They like slapdicked it together.
Couple things going on. Characters I thought were a real letdown because we'll get into how you really felt about. Actually, this is non-spoiler.
Yeah,
I thought Morbius actually was the best part of the movie.
He was,
and there's not even a close second. Like
I don't give
was
a
awful.
shit, and they were useless.
Awful
to the story.
Supporting cast, trash,
awful.
The action / CGI in this was not particularly strong.
I don't understand like the color vapor trails they had on them. Like what? That was the most confusing thing. Why did they do that?
It feels like a pre-MCU like Marvel comic book. Like again, some were better. Like X-Men and X2 and Blade and Spider-Man were all better, but this is like in that Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, Daredevil vein.
Even like original Blade. Like that didn't have the best CGI.
No, I just mean like the feel of the movie. Like at least original Blade was a good movie.
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking two different questions there. But like I'm saying like this fit in with those ones. Like if this movie came out when we were in high school or college, you'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. But no, there's been way too many great comic book movies to actually be able to put this out there. Was there any comedy in this?
Nope.
I'm trying to think. I guess like a couple of efforts.
The best, I would say the funniest line they cut. It's in the trailer and they cut it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's another whole problem I have with it, which I want to get to early on in spoilers. Would you call this must see?
No. Jesus, no.
No. Now, I have a running tally
Sure.
of all the comic book movies I've seen, and I'm trying to rank them. There's an easy app, Letterboxd, where you can put all your stuff in there, and that's how I keep track of all the movies I see during the year too. And we're going to be doing our top 50 comic book movies coming up. We're going to count down our top 25 at our live show on May 15th at Idle Hands, us with Mac and Goo. This clearly is not a top 50. It honestly might be a bottom 20.
It might be, and I think the only movie having to do with Marvel that is lower rated currently, because again, this is a moving target, is Fanforstic.
Yep, 2015's Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan. Poor guy. Yeah, that movie was trash. Yeah, out of like so if you want to go, I hated Eternals, hated it, and this is still worse than Eternals.
It's worse than Eternals. It's worse than both Venoms.
Correct. I was gonna say, and you know what? I know a lot of people are kind of lumping them together. I like both Venoms significantly more than this, and maybe that's a Tom Hardy thing, and the comedy's better in it. But oof, there is a mid and a post credit scene,
and they are garbage.
There's a lot to talk about.
Garbage.
There's a lot to talk about. I want to actually we'll kick off spoilers with mid post credits because that's probably the biggest conversation to have. All right, Rye, what is your hashtag Dork score for Morbius?
This is a 2. Hard, fast. And that's being generous. I would say, I don't know what's a 2 on our scale. 1 is Chode Jeans. Did we figure out what 2 is?
Friar's helmet.
Okay. I would say this is like a 1.5 if I were to give it that, which would make it a shark sandwich.
Wait, you're going now 1.5?
I'd say 2. I would give it a 2 just to make it,
I'm going to go 2 as well. But again, that is insanely low. We have only given, in the history of the show, we have only given a movie or a TV show a 1 once. And it was that Jupiter's Legacy show on Netflix.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And that was awful. That was like, but no, this is bad. This is in the conversation with worst comic book movies. Like, I still think, something like Catwoman or Elektra or Fanforstic, those are worse.
And I have a feeling about that once you hit the sounder.
Okay.
And we will get into that.
All right. So anything else non-spoiler?
No, hit the thing because I got something to say here.
It's 2 for me, 2 for Rye. Add it together. It's a 2 for hashtag Dork on Morbius. Let's get to this.
Spoilers! Here come the spoilers!
All right, Rye. Spoilers.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right, we've mentioned that this was kind of like it seemed like, how many delays did this movie have? 7?
Several. Yeah,
I think 7.
Yeah.
And I think it was moved forward, then it was moved back, and then it was like they're trying to figure out where to do. And we've seen that this basically got the air treatment, that this movie was so slapdick together that it didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, I put the blame of all of this. And again, I don't think this is the movie that Jared Leto shot. I don't think this is the movie that what's the guy's name? Daniel Espinosa. Who's the director?
Daniel Espinosa.
I don't think this is the movie he shot. This was the movie that they were told, because 2 days before the movie came out, this guy went on like a Reddit AMA and started spoiling the movie. Like, he was like, you could tell this dude was pissed, and he can't, because they asked him about like the Spider-Man like murderer thing, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking. I didn't put that in there.
So that wasn't in there.
It wasn't. They cut it out. And
that's insane. And remember, we were looking at it like, that's the same suit as Tobey Maguire. That's that. There's a Daily Bugle scene, which we'll get to, where it's the same font as the Daily Bugle used in the Raimi Spider-Man. So we're trying to add it up. And then I know you're going to get to the Michael Keaton thing, and you're just like, that's not in the god. What are we doing?
There is one person. There is a singular person that you can blame for Morbius sucking. And I will explain this when I'm done. This may surprise you to hear. Do you know who's to blame for this?
You're going to say Kevin Feige?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's fault.
This is Andrew Garfield's fault. Fuck you for being so charming and so good at being Spider-Man, because now what they're trying to do, I'm guessing that Sony saw No Way Home and was like, shit, like, we got to figure out how to get Andrew Garfield back into this.
And make more of these.
And they completely fucked the Morbius movie to shoehorn it in with Venom and like all of those things.
It's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating because like it didn't have, not everything has to, you don't have to connect every single goddamn dot. You don't. And
Nope.
I really think that Sony is seeing this resurgence of this amazing Spider-Man franchise that this is like, all right, we got to strike while the iron's hot. We got to make sure that we get this Sinister Six. We got to make sure that we follow through on that idea. And again, it's not his fault.
No,
But
I
I
know.
blame Andrew Garfield for being as good as he is at being Peter Parker for the downfall of Morbius. And what's frustrating is that this movie did not have to be like this.
No, it didn't. They could have done a cool thing. They could have, it's a cool character, or at least has the potential of being a cool character, and they fucked it up, and they were really lazy, and it was just the most generic type of story ever with a mirror villain, which was fucking awful. I thought we were over the mirror villains. Apparently we're not. But going back to the whole mid and end credit scene and the Spider-Man tie-in, that's insane that you put Spider-Man in the trailer and then it's not even in the movie at all.
And then you mention him by name.
And then you put it, but then you also have a mid and a post-credit scene involving the same character, and you take part of the mid-credit scene and you put it in the trailer.
Yes.
You don't, that's never happened before. You can't put end and mid-credit scenes in the trailer. That's supposed to be like a special like tease or look ahead or clue or something, not to get people in there to watch it. And then they even altered it too. There's like a line in there that was in the trailer only. But so basically we're getting Michael Keaton, who was great in Spider-Man Homecoming, opposite Tom Holland as Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. And so you get him showing up in the prison cell. And then again, why does he show up in the prison cell? Because of the events of No Way Home, which like you said, right, came in after the fact because this movie was shot before No Way Home was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the post-credit scene where now Adrian Toomes is out of there. He's now in his full Vulture suit.
Full Vulture suit. So how the fuck did he get that?
From our Earth. Now he's on this Earth, and he's like, hey, let's team up. And I'm like, well, so now apparently Morbius is just a villain now.
So, so I watched an hour and 45-minute movie of setting up Morbius as like this reluctant hero vigilante, and now he's a bad guy.
And then also, so he goes, and then you see the sky's purple, and you're like, oh shit, like that's from No Way Home. But then Michael Keaton goes, I don't know how I got here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man.
How does he know that?
I don't know. And I also, he looks in Morbius, or Jared Leto kind of sells it in a way where, do you think he is aware of Spider-Man or a Spider-Man? Because he kind of sells it, but he doesn't, he's not like, who?
And he says something like intriguing.
Right. And he's like,
so he has to, because throughout the whole movie, they're reading the Daily Bugle. So they're hitting you over the fucking head with it.
Yeah.
And one of the detectives mentions, so it's funny, they mention Spider-Man by name, but they say that thing that happened in San Francisco.
Right.
Eddie Brock worked for the Daily Bugle. Like they could have said like, oh, that thing with that report, like Brock in San Francisco. Like they could have said his name. They didn't.
No, they didn't. But then, but he does say the Venom line.
They cut that.
Wait, they did?
They cut it. No, that's what I'm talking about. Like that was like the funniest line of the trailer. Like, no, Dr. Michael.
I thought he did, or maybe I was waiting for him.
Cut it.
I saw the trailer so many times.
Yeah, they cut it.
I don't get it. I don't get I don't understand what they're doing.
My favorite part of this whole thing is what's his name? Tyrese.
Yeah.
Was like, he says to Michael Morbius, he thanked him for creating the synthetic blood because it saved his arm in Afghanistan. He had a prosthetic arm. It didn't save his arm. He had a fucking prosthetic arm. So it did not save your arm. You're still missing an arm.
Speaking of Tyrese, I should have mentioned this in non-spoilers, but whatever. I think most people are listening all the way through. Did you see this? I love when people get got by fake stuff on Twitter. It always cracks me up.
Wait a minute. So hang on. The Venom line was in the movie. He said, I'm Venom, but he didn't say, no, I'm Michael Morbius. Half of the line was cut out.
I said I'm Venom.
He said I'm Venom, but he didn't say just kidding, Michael Morbius. He didn't say his name.
Yeah. Brad, in the
that's
chat
what it
said,
was.
No, I'm Dr. Morbius. I thought he said Venom too. So Tyrese, who played one of the cops in this and was just a useless, terrible,
the guy who was like the nyuk funny detective
also sucked.
So fucking annoying.
They were both so bad. Basically, the whole movie, and I want to get to this Tyrese thing, but the whole movie is you have Morbius, then you have Morbius's brother. You have Morbius's like father, Morbius's girlfriend. You have two useless cops, and that was the movie.
That was
But
it.
this really happened. This is hysterical. This is maybe the funniest thing associated with Morbius. So you know how Martin Scorsese hates comic book movies, like famously hates comic book movies.
Yeah.
Somebody photoshopped Scorsese standing in front of a Morbius poster, like at a premiere, and it's quoting Scorsese.
Yes.
Quote, I was aghast to find out it was based on a comic book. This is the truest height of cinema, and even I cannot top it. A wise man admits when he is wrong, and I was wrong. I apologize to all comic book movies. Like, over the top.
Yeah. And this was tweeted out by like Les Cinephile. So it's like a spoof, like The Onion.
Yeah.
But
And
like,
so,
yeah.
So Tyrese Gibson, the actor of this movie, posted to his Instagram, and then his comment goes, wow, I can't believe what just happened. Whoa. Cheers and hats off to you, director Daniel Espinosa. This is so amazing, King. This is the king of kings of cinema, Martin Scorsese. This is huge.
Has that tweet been deleted since?
Yeah, he removed it pretty quickly thereafter.
Yeah. But not before someone saw it and was like, you are
Screen grabbed everywhere. He literally thought that Scorsese thought this was the greatest movie ever made. Like, come on, dude. It's incredible. He like talk about taking the cheese. That fucking made me laugh out loud so bad. So some of the other connections besides obviously Vulture, and again, I don't know if we'll ever see Vulture now in the MCU, or like was that their deal? They're like, you guys can make another Spider-Man movie in the MCU, but like we're stealing this character because you made a good one.
I really think they're gonna push hard for this Sinister Six thing, because you have
right. I think you're definitely right.
You have Craven movie coming out. So there's
Speaking
four,
Milo, who was again Lucian or whatever, he mentions a Russian guy, like a Russian gentleman at one point.
Yes.
A lot of people think that's probably Craven
or Vitaly Rhino.
Or maybe Rhino, could be. Yeah, so you get obviously the Venom stuff, the Spider-Man stuff, the Daily Bugle stuff. So the Daily Bugle also had a bunch of different like little headlines, little clues. They reference Black Cat in there and Chameleon on the Daily Bugle. So those are, because I think they're making a Black Cat movie at some point too.
They are, and they're making I think they've announced that it's been strongly implied that Chameleon is going to be somewhere in a Spider-Man movie soon.
They also mention so this one probably isn't, but when they have the young version of Michael Morbius and his buddy Lucian, and then the father guy says he's going to send him to a school for gifted children in New York.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're thinking Xavier, you're thinking X-Men, but it probably isn't. But again,
because he's not a mutant.
No. Yeah. He's very smart though.
He's very smart. One of the things that needs to go away in movies is the over the top, like unnecessary bullying. Yes. Like that, for some reason that annoys the shit out of me. Like no kid, I don't care how much of a dickhead you are, is going to gang up on a kid with a rare blood disease on crutches.
It does feel a little much.
Like, I don't care how big of a dickhead you are. Like no one's going to do that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Horizon Labs is in this. This has been in the comics for a while. Peter Parker even works there at one point. I did not like when Morbius said, "You won't like me when I'm hungry," which is very similar to Bruce Banner. I didn't care for that.
I did. So what I did like is there was a couple of cool vampire set pieces when you find out we're in spoilers. You find out it's Milo who kills the nurse. But when she's going down the hallway, there were some like legitimate like horror set pieces.
Yep.
Remember like the lights blinking and he's like moving like up the walls. Like I really liked that. I really liked
last week I saw a film. As I recall, it was a horror film.
There was some like the fight scene between the two, like specifically in like the subway tunnel where they're like running around the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like this is why I get to 2, because like there's pieces of this that could have worked.
Yeah, there's a couple pieces, and I even thought Leto as Morbius was pretty good. Like when he was when he wasn't the vampire and he was just trying to figure shit out, and like I thought he was fine. I had no problem with him, but it was like there wasn't a single other character. Like his girlfriend was probably the closest one to me.
I did not give a shit about her. or like any character for that matter.
But like the big letdown, it's once again like the bad Marvel movies usually have just useless horror, like terrible villains, and this was a case there where you're like, what are we doing? Like, what is this guy?
The dancing. What are we doing with the dancing with him?
I don't know.
Like, God damn.
It's frustrating. It was that part was all really frustrating. I didn't like him at all. Did Morbius need a movie?
No,
he didn't. It's unfortunate. Like I wanted it to be good because you know what? Like the Suicide Squad was another one where you're like, Suicide Squad, you have to have the right movie for it. And we've now seen 2 Suicide Squad movies. One of them not so great. One of them was fucking awesome. So I still feel like you could maybe, or could you not have a good movie with him as the lead? Would you be better off having him like in a movie with like Blade and with think that shit?
Having him in a movie would have been fine.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think James Gunn does really well is with these like tertiary characters, he understands that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like one of the things that always pissed me off about the Sony movies or some of the DC movies is how seriously they take the source material.
Yeah.
This is, you have a guy turning into a vampire in front of 2 police officers and they don't even fucking blink.
No.
They're just like looking at him like, okay, time to go. They don't even, they're like, this, you're seeing
this
a
is
legitimate,
normal
like a legitimate monster. And these people have probably seen weirder shit, but come on, man.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, fuck. It's just, I was like going in. I mean, if you were gonna bet money on what's gonna be good or bad, you'd bet money on it being bad. But I was still like hopeful. I'm like, you never know. Like maybe this will be all right.
So basically, this is in the same realm as the first Suicide Squad and New Mutants. Like that's where this lands.
Yep.
2 movies that got cut to shit and weren't what the director or writers had in mind, and were just.
But the difference with this, and I saw somebody in the chat was asking, is this Marvel Studios or Sony? No, this is a Sony movie. However, the fact that the last Spider-Man movie, and again, Spider-Man is still partially owned by Sony, they really kind of opened the door to let these guys sort of latch on to MCU shit, which is bullshit. Like this is still not an MCU movie. Like Feige has nothing to do with it. He has nothing to do with this movie. And yet they can do Purple Sky and they can take Michael Keaton and they can like talk about Spider-Man. They gotta be so mad. Like they do. And like Feige has created this thing where like now you have the TV shows tying in. You're bringing in Daredevil. You're bringing in like the Marvel Netflix shows. Like you're doing everything you do is with reason. And then you're like, well, so Morbius is in your universe now. And you can't say they're not. They 100% are in the universe, even though they're not making the movies.
Here's my biggest fear. And this is timestamp it. It is 9:42 on 4/4/22. This what we have just witnessed is the bubble popping. Because if you think about the comic book movie, I do not think anything can be as good as what we've seen already. The next Endgame isn't going to be as good, and it's constantly going to be compared to that.
So
you still have Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves to hang on to. You still have, so I don't know if Strange is going to be any good.
Let me talk you off the ledge. Let me talk you off the ledge because I know where you're going on this. Strange, I agree, is probably a toss-up, but Thor, Love and Thunder, Guardians 3, Black Panther 2, these are pretty good.
If Thor started press today, they started press touring today for Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
No trailer.
I don't want the trailer.
Now, part of me, like I said, I don't want a trailer. At this point, I don't want it because I want to be completely surprised by what happens. Because how many times in life can you be now with the internet? Can you be actually surprised by any of these things? So I get it.
No.
I do trust Taika Waititi as a artist and as a director and whatever. But there isn't a lot of good. Now they're starting to talk about like the She-Hulk show is having problems. Like that's going through like massive rewrites and it's getting delayed and like all this shit.
I mean, they've probably overextended themselves in a way,
they
still have. Yeah, I don't know. Cause like The shows have been hit or miss.
Good.
Loki was great. Hawkeye was great. Falcon and Winter Soldier was not. What If
Moon Knight's going to be good.
Moon Knight so far is good. You're right. No, I understand. Oh, this is sort of a not just comic book movie. This is, I guess, sort of this is like a bigger picture question. Do you think you have already seen the best movie you will ever see?
In terms of comic book movies?
Both.
No, I have not seen the best movie I've ever seen yet.
Like will ever see, I mean.
That's a moving target.
Yeah.
Do I think I've seen the best comic book movie I've ever going to see? Yes.
See, I disagree only because I think you can make like the Batman to me is not my number one all time, but it got fucking pretty close. Like I loved the Batman so much. And so I still think there's a chance maybe the next Batman movie is.
I hope I'm wrong. But everyone knows that the second movie in the trilogy stinks, right?
That is true. That is a hard
true.
Fast rule. Yep, that's true.
This is This Week in Horrible Rossi Takes.
This next Batman movie is going to be the fucking best, probably. Morbius also says at one point he won't go full Dracula, so that's a nice name check on our guy Dracula. That was nice to hear. And now, if they make another Morbius movie, his girlfriend for sure is going to be a vampire. She like opened her eyes there at the end or whatever.
And Jesus, like make it count for something. Like,
and he eats her. He ate her. Do you want another Morbius movie?
I do not.
Do you want Morbius to be in a third Venom movie?
He's going to be, whether I like it or not. Like it's going to happen. He's going to be in whatever Amazing Spider-Man 3 schlock they Sony turns out because they're doing it.
What is their Sinister Six going to be?
It's going to be Morbius, Kraven, Venom, Vulture, Chameleon,
Rhino,
maybe.
Yeah. Well, all looking forward to that.
Are we?
Nah, we're not though. This really fucking blew. This was
Andrew Garfield. How dare you be that charming and good at your job, son of a bitch?
We're in like a weird, like kind of hit or miss. Was it the last 4 comic book movies would be Eternals, Spider-Man, Batman, and this one? Like that is a big range.
That's a huge range.
That is a wild range. All right. Anything else on Morbius? You guys can tweet us and email us at Dork Podcast or dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Your thoughts on the film Morbius. Maybe you liked it more than we did. Maybe you could tell us why you happen to like it a great deal.
And let me just say for the record one last time, this version of the movie we saw sucks. But that does not mean that it had to. I bet that there's a version of this movie that was fine, but this one sucked.
Do you think Jared Leto is done with comic book movies?
If I'm him, I'm like, you know what, dude? I don't need this.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He doesn't need this.
I know he looked like a silly goose in Snyder Cut Justice League, but I kind of am very intrigued by that. I wanted to see where that was going to go.
And I might be in the minority in this, but I thought he did a hell of a job. When given like full reins of the Joker, he could have been good. That was a snapshot. If that was a snapshot between him and Affleck,
I want to see.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
And not because I think it would be better than anybody's. I'm curious to see that Joker.
I wanted to see that myself.
Yeah.
But you would think after and if you're right about like the director's cut not being the right one, so now he's like, well, what the fuck? Like I've filmed all this stuff. You guys chop it up
twice
anyway.
It's happened twice.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably going to be done. All right, there you go. There's our review of the film Morbius.
Pick of the bomb.
All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also choose at this time to defend a goal.
I will receive, and I will say that this one is obviously a pick of the pod, but I don't know if everybody knew this, so I'm just going to say this right now. As of today, I believe all 5, including the most recent seasons of Better Call Saul, are now on Netflix. So they just added the 5th season, and I think was it a week or 2 that starts again?
I believe it's this month. Yeah,
it's this month. So it's perfect time. If you guys haven't seen the 5th season of Better Call Saul or you want to rewatch it, do it now. They just put it on Netflix.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that very much.
If you wanted something new, I've been listening to a podcast called Smartless, which is Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes.
Oh, did you hear what happened with their live show in Boston?
No.
So they had they take their show around just like Dork, and they do live
Right.
shows.
But they have like a mystery guest.
Yeah. It's
Who,
they
like,
did
one of the
back-to-back
hosts
shows.
invites a mystery guest, and the other two have to figure out who it is, right?
So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess they did a 7 o'clock and a 10 o'clock show, and people are all excited about it. These are 3 big stars. 7 o'clock mystery guest Conan O'Brien.
Mhm.
Great show. Everybody had a great time. 10 o'clock mystery guest, a professor from MIT.
Yeah.
And people fucking lost their minds about it. Like it was just angry people on Twitter being they couldn't believe they wasted their money on this thing. But anyway, what were you listening to with them?
So I listened to the Conan O'Brien episode because I had heard, and then I listened to one of the other ones, and it's actually it was David Spade, I think it was. But I just like hearing those guys talk about like shared experiences and like what they did and what they've been through and like all that stuff. So kind of get like a peek behind the curtain as to like what that whole thing was like. And I mentioned the other one I was listening to was it called like Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade talking about their time at SNL.
That's
And I didn't know like the shit that they have to like do on a weekly basis and why
pretty crazy.
in the 90s and 80s that it was in even 70s, you know, drugs were available.
It was.
Yeah.
That was the show.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this before, but the Always Sunny podcast is pretty good. It might be a couple episodes behind on that, but
the only thing that pisses me off is they label these things like they're going to talk about some episode and then they never really talk about the episode.
they might hit on one thing. They might like ask a question and then it's just them talking about it. Did you listen to the episode where they all got drunk?
I listened to that one, and then the most recent one I listened to, I was really excited about the episode, and they spent like 15 minutes debunking figuring out if your wingspan was equal to
Measuring
your height.
themselves basically.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's like a square and a rectangle. Like you learn that in like elementary school. Like if it's the same, you're a square, and if it's not, you're a rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
The drunk episode though was kind of eye-opening in the sense that like if we ever thought to do that, don't. Like it just
never do that. Yeah.
Because those are 3 of the funniest guys in the world, and they were just getting drunk, and like Charlie had a guitar for some of it, and like then they're doing stuff that they think is funny. And then they'd like start a story but not finish it. Like it actually was kind of driving me nuts. I listened to the whole thing, but I'm like, yeah. So it might sound funny, like you and me be like, hey, let's just get hammered one night and do the podcast.
Terrible idea.
Not that funny.
And
it's probably their worst episode, actually.
Yeah, and it annoys me that like when they talk about the episodes and the writing process and like working with some of these people, it's interesting, but it's so you have to dig through a lot of shit to get there.
Yeah, their earlier episodes, I think if you're into that, are a little bit better because they sort of talk about how the show started, how those guys met, things like that. But now as it's gone on, it's like they spend more time talking about who parked well in the garage,
right,
and who didn't. So
or who had to deal with the most traffic,
right,
getting there.
Right.
Yeah,
who lives the furthest away from
fascinating.
The studio. Yeah. I've talked about the show a million times, but the Severance series finale is this Friday coming out. Also, it's got to be down to the last episode or 2 from of the show. From if anybody has Epics, both of them are.
So I was so pissed because they put it on Prime Video, and there's like, watch
3 episodes, right?
It's the first 3. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then that's very misleading. A lot of shows have been doing that where they give you like a free, even like Yellow Jackets. When I first was looking to watch Yellow Jackets because I was trying to catch up on it. Like all these different places had the first episode for free. And so I watched it wherever. And then I went to watch the second one. You're like, wait, what?
So From might be the most intriguing yet worst acted show I've ever seen.
How many episodes have you watched?
3.
Okay.
The guy who plays the dad of like the family might be the worst actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, that family is not strong at acting. The main dude who's like the sheriff.
He's a great actor. Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
But you're right. Everyone
else in the show, it might be like you and I could show up on set and act circles around those fucking people. The guy, this is in the first episode, the guy whose family he forgets to nail the window shut. That guy might be the worst actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is weird. Like they must have just like grabbed people. They're like, oh shit, we didn't cast this role. Okay, can you do a couple lines?
But I'm intrigued by the show because I want to know what's going on. But like it's Jesus.
I want to see how it ends. What do you want to do next week for topic? Kick it around. Yeah, you know what? Great idea I just came up with. Let's get hammered. and then talk about how far it takes you to get to work in the morning.
How about we take a stack of the Marvel? We'll do the free play. We'll do what we just did. We did a little microcosm of it. You shuffle it, and I pitch you a movie on that character.
I love it. I want one right now of this guy.
Sleepwalker. So this is another comic that I read. I had Sleepwalker #1. So Sleepwalker is an alien, I believe. So this is the pitch for Sleepwalker. So he's an alien who comes out of a guy's psyche when he's sleeping.
I love it.
And so, I mean, there's something that people. How do you aliens?
I love Sleepwalker. This one, here's a quote. There's a quote from all these guys. This one's from Sleepwalker #12. I am Sleepwalker, and for me, there is no rest.
It's a good one.
Because he's sleepwalking. So
he's sleepwalking. Yeah.
Real name unknown. First appearance, Sleepwalker #1. April
another comic I own. Yep.
God damn. Yeah, we can go through the Marvel. This will be an ongoing segment within the show.
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
Love it. All right.
Or we could do so movies that we didn't like that we could improve. There's an idea there.
Did we do worst comic book movies already? I think we probably did.
But it's not just doing worst. It's like, okay, this movie, this is what sucked about this. How do you fix it?
How do you fix it? I'm an idea man. I'm
still fucking pissed. Now I'm still pissed that we didn't even mention the fact that DC is now saying that Henry Cavill is out. They're going to replace him with the girl playing Supergirl.
Oh yeah.
In the DCE, how do you fuck up 2 perfect castings?
They found a way.
They really did.
Yep.
They really did.
Leave it to them.
Leave it to them. You have the best on-screen Superman I've ever seen. No disrespect to Christopher Reeves. They could have goosed him a little bit.
What about Dean Cain?
Fuck Dean Cain. I hope he's listening. Fuck you, Dean Cain. You and Kevin Sorbo and whatever fucking asshole you're
Dean Cain, I think, led the Ivy League in picks one year for Princeton.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Anyway. You can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dork Podcast. We stream these episodes Monday nights at 8:45, then available via podcast after that. You can email some should I have bought this submissions as well. dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Anything you bought over $25, send us a picture and a brief description of the item and why you bought it. Yeah, so we'll kick around some things and we will come up with a topic for next Monday at this time. Also, live show, save the date, May 15th at Idle Hands. It's a Sunday, 3:00 start time. Us and Mac and Goo are top 25 comic book movies of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time. Ooh, here's a submission. Top 10 podcasts all time. Hashtag Dork, hashtag Dork, hashtag Dork, hashtag Dork, hashtag Dork.
Dylon. 5 best rappers alive. Done.
Right, you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
What'd you say?
I said you don't give a shit about anything, do you?
Not really.